In-store branding can mean a whole lot of things, whether it's visual merchandising, kiosks, even in-store design. But it's still at a very nascent stage in India. In-Store Asia 2009 was held in Bangalore recently. Mokshita Batra now gives us an overview. Have a look.
Just a few years ago, marketers barely gave any importance to the shopper. It was the more loyal consumer who hogged all their attention. But now, however, things are changing, with marketers realizing that the shopper too has a significant contribution and role to play when it comes to their brand sales. And therefore, getting into a shopper's mind, his psyche, understanding what he thinks has become of prime importance. And this was the very topic of discussion at the 5th annual In-Store Asia event, which was held here in Bangalore for the very first time.
65 stalls, 2,500 visitors, 18 expert speakers from various fields, particularly FMCG, lifestyle and apparel and retail, that thronged the Bangalore International Exhibition Centre to witness the growing phenomenon of shopper retail.
In-Store Asia 2009 is being done for the 5th time, and it's an annual event which actually brings together a whole set of participants who are in the realm of point of purchase, in-store, fixtures, anything to do with retail. Is really
Sessions smoothly swept in a lot of the crowd, and while each had its own charm and message, some sunk in better than others. Here are some examples.
Retail is of two kinds, and pointed out glaringly to the retailer to say, one, there's something called organized retail, which is 4.1% of the pie, and there's something called unorganized retail, which is 95.9% of the pie. So why don't you look at unorganized retail? That happens in the smaller towns of India. It happens in the big cities as well. It happens in every nook and corner which is uncovered by organized retail. So we're trying to say that, you know, a good way of beating the recession is to focus on small town India, to focus on small retailer, the mom and pop stores, the corner kirana, the kaka shops. India is in a kind of an urban cautionary recession, wherein 40% of our economy in urban India is actually not willing to spend, whereas 60% of rural India has been spending gung-ho, and the growth has been tremendous. Telecom has grown at 28% in rural, FMCG at 20% in rural, durables at 18% in rural. So, whereas the same categories in urban have not been growing. So the idea is to say, refocus on retail, because every kirana corner shop guy knows how to manage his customers better than an organized retailer knows.
The crux of the forum was that the shopper is at the heart of everything, and every marketing problem, in fact, has a shopper-centric solution. Distinctions were drawn between the commonly mixed-up terms shopper and consumer, and substantiating these points were successful case studies like Cadbury's and Coke's Sprite.
What we're talking about in today's session was more about how the consumer and shopper are different people. So it's like the same person when he or she is a consumer thinks and behave in a different manner versus when he or she is a shopper. Sprite is actually a brand which is focused at teenagers, but teenagers don't always buy it, and the person who buys it is really the housewife, not the teenager who is the consumer.
With the shopper and consumer being two different entities then, the brand had to come up with a way to please them both.
What we had done is we first understood what works with the teenagers and what works with the housewife, and we kept sort of a consistency of messaging, which is what really a brand is all about. But at the same time, we identified occasions and opportunities.
Their needs, their behaviors. We defined what we call as the 5P solutions for each and every retail environment, which is about the right product assortment, placement, that's visibility, point of buying communication, pricing and promotion.
In-Store Asia in Bangalore also had people flocking to the stalls, especially the ones that showcased interactive media.
Welcome to the new world of interactivity. What we have over here is just a normal floor, but we make it interactive this way. Instead of this particular image out here, you can have anything over here. That is, you can have your own image, you can have games played over here, you can have a soccer game played over here, you can have a cricket game played over here. What it works best for is when I'm just having a walk, okay, with a black ground or with a normal ground, I'm not even going to look anywhere. But when there's something flashy that comes up this way, it gives me a better brand recall than any other thing that can give me.
And it wasn't just the fun element of stall hopping that attracted visitors, but the learning experience.
I'm a student from MIT Institute of Design, Loni, and I'm specializing in retail and exhibition design. So this was a part of our field visit to the exhibition. Since it's a big occasion, so we wanted to have an exposure to all the kind of retail fixtures and the display and the graphics that go behind it. So it was a very enriching experience.
We were actually waiting for InStore Asia 2009 because this was our dream, that we have to bring our products. This was the set of clients with whom we want to speak to. This is the market.
While overall consumer marketing budgets are estimated to have risen by a mere 2% between 2004 and 2010. A retailer's shopper marketing budget has witnessed a 21% hike for the same period. So
Now is Mr. Jose Maria Bustos, who is the head of Visual Merchandising Asia Private Limited, a company that, as the name suggests, specializes in visual merchandising. And we're going to ask sir to take us through what exactly visual merchandising is all about. Hello, sir. Thank you so much for joining me on All About Ads.
Nice to meet you.
First of all, can I have a short form for your name?
Everyone calls me Bosco. It's a nickname, so feel free to call me that.
All right, Bosco, why don't you tell us a little bit about what visual merchandising is all about?
Okay, visual merchandising really is an element of retail that has to do with what we call experiential retailing, creating visual excitement at point of sale for your customers, essentially. It's about merchandising, how you present your merchandising at point of sale, what kind of fixtures you use. This company I was looking at earlier, actually, they manufacture fixtures. Fixture manufacturing is a growing industry as well here in India. So visual merchandising helps retailers in deciding what kind of fixtures to use, how to properly merchandise the products, what kind of signage to use, what kind of mannequins to use, where to put displays to have them be impactful, how to create window displays, and oftentimes more experienced visual merchandisers will help retailers with regards to store design as well. This particular company here, which is Disha Retail Fixtures, develops metal and wood fixtures for retailers. Other companies might sell plastic type of fixtures.
Is India that organized in this? It sounds like a separate business altogether. You've done a lot of work with other Asian countries in this field, like Philippines and Thailand and Indonesia, like you mentioned. How far back is India?
It's not that India is far back. India is in the throes of developing its retail. So it's not a matter of being far back. The visual merchandising keeps pace with the generation of retail. So as you generate greater retail and more manufacturers and more concept shops and let's suppose more international designers, then the visual merchandising will keep pace with it. But right now, India is at the early stages of retail growth. So visual merchandising is equally at the early stages of its growth.
Can you give us some examples, concrete examples of what exactly visual merchandising concepts are like? For example, in your session you were explaining about colors and shapes. And
each retail brand will have to develop specific guidelines just for themselves. This store here is kind of interesting. They're doing a lot of laminate fixturing and interesting kinds of mechanisms that can probably switch off, so you can show different kinds of merchandise. Here they've got some baskets which would be very good for bulk items. So this kind of basketry is a good merchandising solution for little things that you might have a lot of that you just want to throw into a basket.
Right. So at what level does visual merchandising sort of step in when it comes to a project? Is it at the beginning? Is it after the store is built?
All right, that's a very good point because it's something I'm very passionate about. Actually, visual merchandising, I believe, should be incorporated at the very, very beginning of a store design concept or brand concept. You should think about how it is you want to present your merchandise to the client, what it is you want your store to look like, and the concept of the store design and even the fixtures should have a lifestyle element. It should be something that resonates with your target customer.
What's the cost?
I don't think you can actually say across the board it costs this or it costs that. It just depends on the project. Most visual merchandising is done on a per project basis, depending on what is required.
So you are very passionate about this subject, obviously. Again, if I can talk about India, you've done a little bit of work here in India compared to the other places that you have. What is the potential that you see here? How important do you think it is in India?
There's unlimited potential here. It's huge. And I think for young people interested in the field of visual merchandising or interested in the field of aesthetics, making things look attractive, there's huge potential. As an industry, it's in the baby infancy stage, and in the next 10 to 15 years, you'll be seeing huge growth in visual merchandising. So companies will be looking everywhere frantically for visual merchandisers. So I think young people who might have an interest in making things look attractive should definitely move into the field, and there'll be a lot of opportunity for them.
Right. So one more question, since we're all still in the slowdown stage globally, can I just ask you, despite that, do you still think it's an investment that retailers should make?
No, it's not an investment retailers should make. It's an investment retailers have to make. They really don't have a choice, because as India is opening up, you will see more and more international brands coming into the marketplace. And once they come in, it's too late. They have their visual merchandising teams, large teams, with designers, top-level designers at the top, middle management and execution people at the store level. Once they come in, they have their strategies in place, everything is formatted. They're just gonna, come in like stormtroopers, and then it will be too late for local businesses to say, oh my God, I need visual merchandisers, I need better store design, I need some merchandising guidelines, it'll be a bit too late. So they should start now, reach into their pockets, spend the money, get some expertise, bring in some young people, train them, develop some concept shops, and position themselves for when the doors do open, they won't get caught off guard.
Well, thank you very much for joining us, sir.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And I enjoyed your walkthrough very much.
Well, that was Mr. Vasco talking about visual merchandising and its potential and benefit for retailers world over.
Well, that's all on All About Ads this week. Tell us what you think. If you have a response, all you need to do is log on to NDTV Profit.